Hello, everyone, and welcome to my favorite evening of the season. This is Tidings of Comfort and Joy at Old St. Andrew's Church. My name is Liz Miller, and I'm the music director here at Old St. Andrew's. And it is my pleasure to welcome you to our homey, cozy Christmas celebration, honoring a lot of our favorite stories and poems and secular traditions interspersed with the singing of some of our favorite Christmas carols. This year, due to the pandemic, we are trying this service out as a hybrid service, meaning that Team Tidings, the music staff, myself, Gabby McCormick, Austin Tewksbury, Maestro Frank Viola, Corey Bowie, and of course, himself, the Reverend Dr. Tim Squire, are here making the service happen in your homes. We are going to lead the carol singing live and intersperse that with the videos that were sent in by parishioners of themselves reading their favorite stories, reading poems, singing some of their favorite songs. And I hope that you and your families are cozy, snuggled up with a nice hot beverage, maybe some Christmas cookies, and ready to enjoy one of the sweetest traditions that we have here at Old St. Andrews. Um, actually last night, Tim sent out the bulletin to all of you. It looks like this. If you don't have it, you may have it in your email, and it will have all the words and the verses to the carols we're singing and the names of the individual acts that you're going to see shown on the videos. So for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy Old St. Andrew's favorite Christmas celebration, Tidings of Comfort and Joy. We will kick this off by singing Deck the Halls. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. To roll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure, fa la 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 la. Fast away the old year passes, fa la 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 la. Hail the new ye lads and lasses, fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la.
I'm going to be reading from the Father Christmas Letters by J.R.R. Tolkien, and they are letters from Father Christmas to the Tolkien children. 1929. It's a light Christmas again, I'm glad to say. The northern lights have been especially good. We had a bonfire this year to please the North Polar Bear, to celebrate the coming in of winter. The snow elves let off all the rockets together, which surprised us both. I've tried to draw you a picture of it, but really there were hundreds of rockets. You can't see the elves at all against the snow background. The bonfire made a hole in the ice and woke up the great seal, who happened to be underneath. The polar bear let off 20,000 silver sparklers afterwards. Used up all my stock, so that's why I had none to send you. Then he went for a holiday to North Norway and stayed with a woodcutter called Olaf and came back with his paw all bandaged just at the beginning of our busy time. There seem to be more children than ever in all the countries I especially look after. It's a good thing clocks don't tell the same time all over the world, or I should never get around. Although when my magic is strongest, at Christmas, I can do about 1,000 stockings in a minute if I have it all planned out beforehand. You could hardly guess the enormous piles of lists I make out. I seldom get them mixed, but I'm rather worried this year. You can guess from my pictures what happened. The first one shows you my office and packing room, and the North Polar Bear reading out names while I copy them down. We had awful gales here, worse than you did. Tearing clouds of snow to a million tatters, screaming like demons, burying my house almost up to the roofs. Just at the worst, the North Polar Bear said it was stuffy, and he opened a north window before I could stop him. Look at the result. Only actually, the North Polar Bear was buried in papers and lists, but that did not stop him from laughing. Love from Father Christmas. And here's the letter from 1930. I have enjoyed all your letters. I hope you will like your stockings this year. I tried to find what you asked for, but the stores have been in rather a muddle. You see, the polar bear has been ill. He had whooping cough, first of all. I could not let him help with the packing and sorting, which begins in November, because it would be simply awful if any of my children caught polar whooping cough and barked like bears on Boxing Day. So I had to do everything myself in preparation. Of course, North Polar Bear has done his best. He cleared up and mended my sleigh and looked after the reindeer while I was busy. That's how the really bad accident happened. Early this month, we had a most awful snowstorm, nearly 6 feet of snow, followed by an awful fog. The poor polar bear went out to the reindeer stables and got lost and nearly buried. I didn't miss him or go to look for him for a long while. His chest had not got well from whooping cough, so this made him frightfully ill, and he was in bed until 3 days ago. Everything has gone wrong, and there's been no one to look after my messengers properly. But now, aren't you glad? The polar bear is better. The top picture shows polar bear telling a story after all the things had been cleared away. The little pictures show me finding polar bear in the snow, and polar bear sitting with his feet in hot mustard and water to stop him shivering. It didn't, and he sneezed so terribly he blew out 5 candles. Still, he's all right now. I know, because he's been at his tricks again, quarreling with the snowman, my gardener, and pushing him through the roof of his snow house and packing lumps of ice instead of presents in naughty children's parcels. That might be a good idea, only he never told me, and some of them, with ice, were put in warm storerooms and melted all over the good children's presents. Well, my dears, there's a lot more I should like to say about my green brother and my father, old grandfather Yule, and why we were both called Nicholas after the saint whose day is December 6th, who used to give secret presents, sometimes throwing purses of money through the window. But I must hurry away. I'm late already, and I'm afraid you may not get this in time. Love from Father Christmas.
Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing and bushels of fun. Now the jingle rock has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell talk. Jingle bell chime and jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. the bushels of fun. Now the jingle rock has begun. Jingle bell chime. Bell chime and jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air. What a bright time. It's the right time to walk the night away. Jingle bell time is a swell time to go riding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle around the clock. With a mix and a mingle and a jingling beat. That's the jingle bell. That's the jingle bell. That's the jingle bell rock.
Live with thee there. Away in the manger, no grave for his bed. The little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. The stars in the bright sky looked down where he lay. The little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay. The cattle are lowing, the baby awakes, but little Lord Jesus crying he makes. I love thee, Lord Jesus, look down from the sky and stay by my side until morning is nigh. Be near me, Lord Jesus, I ask thee to stay close by me forever and love me and fit us for heaven to live with thee there.
Hamilton, and I'm going to be singing All I Want for Christmas is My Two Front Teeth. All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth, my two front teeth, oh my two front teeth. Gee, if I could only have my two front teeth, then I could wish a Merry Christmas. It seems so long since I could say, Sister Susie sitting on a thistle. God showed ye how happy I'd be if I could only whistle. All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth, my two front teeth, oh my two front teeth. Gee, if I could only have my two front teeth, then I could wish you Merry Christmas. All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth, my two front teeth, oh my two front teeth. Gee, if I could only have my two front teeth, then I could wish you Merry Christmas. Santa Claus and his reindeer used to bring me lots of toys and candy. Now that I can call their names, none of them will really understand me. All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth, my two front teeth, oh my two front teeth. Gee, if I could only have my two front teeth, then I could wish you Merry Christmas. Then I could wish you Merry Christmas.
Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in verdant beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, you stand in verdant beauty. Your boughs are green in summer's glow, and do not fade in winter's snow. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, you stand in verdant beauty. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, much pleasure doth thou bring me. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, much pleasure doth thou bring me. For every year the Christmas tree brings us all joy and glee. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, much pleasure doth thou bring me. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, thy candles shine out brightly. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, thy candles shine out brightly. Each bough doth hold its tiny light that makes each to sparkle bright. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree, thy candles shine out brightly.
bending near the earth to touch their hearts of gold. Peace on the earth, goodwill to men, from heaven's all-gracious King. The world in silence still dismay to hear the angels sing. Still through the golden skies they come, with peaceful wings unfurled, and still their evening music flows o'er all the weary world. Above its sad and lonely plains, they bend on hovering wing, and ever o'er its battle sounds the blessed angels sing. Yet with the loads of sin and strife, the world has suffered long. Beneath the heavenly hymn herald 2,000 years of Rome, and warring humankind hears not the tidings which they bring. Oh, hush the noise and cease your strife, and hear the angels sing. For lo, the days are hastening on, by prophet seen of old, when with the ever-circling years shall come that time foretold, when he shall over all the earth its ancient splendors flaunt. And though the world give back the song which now the angels
and low. Follow every byway, every path you know. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your dream. A dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life, for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your dream.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful
newborn King. The highest angels joy, Christ the everlasting Lord. Late in time behold him come, offspring of the Virgin's womb. Veiled in flesh the guided see, hail incarnate deity. Please men with us to dwell. Jesus, Lord Emmanuel. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. While he lays his glory high, for that we die, born to raise us from the earth, born to give us second birth. Is with healing with his wings, light and light to all he brings. Hail the Son of Righteousness, born Prince of Peace. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. I'm dreaming of white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
Christmas Eve many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I'd never hear, the ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There is no Santa, my friend had insisted, but I knew he was wrong. Late that night I did hear sounds, though not of ringing bells. From outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house. It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed downstairs and out the door. "All aboard," the conductor cried out loud. I ran up to him. "Well," he said, "are you coming?" "Where?" I asked. "Why, to the North Pole, of course," was his answer. "This is the Polar Express." I took his outstretched hand and he pulled me aboard. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies with nougat centers as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forests where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon, but the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys like a car on a roller coaster. The mountains turned into hills, the hills to snow-covered plains. We crossed a barren desert of ice, the great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing over a frozen sea. "There," said the conductor, "is the North Pole." The North Pole. It was a huge city standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first we saw no elves. "They are gathering at the center of the city," the conductor told us. "This is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas." "Who receives the first gift?" we all asked. The conductor answered, "He will choose one of you." "Look," shouted one of the children. Outside we saw hundreds of elves. As our train grew closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl, so crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no farther, we stopped and the conductor led us outside. We passed through the crowd to the center of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound, like nothing I'd ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us and pointed to me and said, "Let's have this fellow here." He jumped into his sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee and he asked, "Now what would you like for Christmas?" I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine, but the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked, Santa smiled. Then he gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from the reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood, holding the bell high above him, and called out, "The first gift of Christmas." A clock struck midnight as the elves roared their approval. Santa handed the bell to me, and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sleigh. Santa shouted out the reindeer's names and cracked his whip. His team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa cried once above us, then disappeared into the cold, dark polar sky. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached in my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa's sleigh. "Let's hurry outside and look for it," one of the children said. But the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood at my doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. What? I yelled out. He cupped his hands around his mouth. Merry Christmas, he shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was the silver bell. There was a note. Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C. I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it's broken." When I had shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I have grown all old, the bell still rings for me as it does for all who truly believe.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's so nice to be with you tonight on this cold, cold, late fall evening. I have a special story for you tonight. It's called Hanukkah Guest. It's one of my favorite stories for this time of year. Hanukkah is a special holiday that is celebrated by people of the Jewish faith at about this time of year. Actually, Hanukkah begins on December 10th, so it's already started and it runs for a week. Anyway, this book is written by Eric A. Kimmel and it is illustrated by Giora Carmi. In this story, you will hear some words that might be unfamiliar to you. The first word is Baba. Baba means grandmother in some Jewish households. And in this story, there is a little old lady named Baba Reina. You will also hear the word latka. Latkes are a special food that is eaten during Hanukkah and also other times of year. They're made with potatoes and they are delicious, absolutely delicious. You'll also hear the word rabbi. A rabbi is the person who leads the prayers in a synagogue of the Jewish faith. He is a teacher. You'll also hear the word menorah. A menorah is a large candle stand with room for 8 candles, 7 for each day of the week, and 1 more for the candle that lights each of those candles. And lastly, you'll hear the word dreidel. Dreidel is a small top that is spun in a game. And on that top, on each side, are different Hebrew letters. And depending on which way the top falls, it will determine whether you get one of something or none of something or all of something. And you'll hear about that game in this story. The Hanukkah Guest. Old Bear roused himself from his winter sleep. He yawned a gigantic yawn. Then he stretched himself all over. Finally, he poked his nose outside his den. A soft blanket of deep snow covered the ground. Spring was still many months away. Old Bear wrinkled his nose. What was that delicious smell? It smelled like something good to eat, which reminded Old Bear that it had been months since he had eaten anything. Old Bear's empty stomach rumbled. He shook himself all over, then lumbered out of his den to follow that delicious smell. Baba Braina took the last potato latke from the pan and put it in the oven with the others. The latkes would stay warm in there until her guests arrived. Baba Braina was 97 years old and did not hear or see as well as she used to, but she still made the best potato latkes in the village. Every year at Hanukkah time, all her friends made their way through the snow to her little house on the edge of the forest. How they loved those latkes. Baba Braina always made plenty. But tonight, on the first night of Hanukkah, she made twice as many as usual. Tonight was special. Tonight, the rabbi was coming. Baba Braina put on a clean apron and set the table. She filled a bowl with nuts for the dreidel game. Kitzel the cat rubbed against her ankles as she bustled around the kitchen. One last chore, the candles for the menorah. Baba Braina went to get them. Just then, she heard a knock on the door. Well, it wasn't exactly a knock. It was more like a soft thumping. My guests must be early, Baba Braina said. She opened the door. The cat hissed and dived under the table. Why, Rabbi, how nice to see you, Baba Braina exclaimed. Groom, growled the old bear. And happy Hanukkah to you too. Please come in. Old Bear lumbered into the house. He shook the snow from his fur. I'll take your coat, Rabbi. My, how thick it is. It must be very cold outside. Baba Braina tugged at Old Bear's fur. Roar! Old Bear growled. Oh, you prefer to leave your coat on. Well, that's all right. It's a bit chilly in here. Come into the kitchen. I've set the table for a lovely Hanukkah evening. Old Bear followed Baba Braina into the kitchen. The delicious smells made his nose twitch. Vroom. Thank you, Rabbi. How kind of you to say that. The latkes will taste even better than they smell. Old Bear followed his nose to the oven. Roar! Rabbi, I'm surprised at you. You know we don't eat until we light the menorah. Grrr. That's all right. I know you were teasing. I'll light the candles. Will you say the blessing? Mm. Baba Braina struck a match and lit the Seamus candle. Then she lit the one for the first night. Old Bear muttered and growled. "Vroom, vroom, vroom, vroom." Who has kept us, preserved us, and sustained us to this time? Oh, Rabbi, you say the blessings so beautifully. Baba Brena pulled out a chair. Old Bear sat down. Let's play dreidel. I have some nuts we can play with. Old Bear's nose twitched. He cracked a nut in his teeth. Rabbi, you won't have any nuts for the game if you eat them all. Vroom, growled Old Bear. Don't worry, I have more nuts if you need them. Baba Brena gave the dreidel a spin. Old Bear sniffed the little top as it whirled around. It stopped on the letter none. Nothing. We spin again. Baba Brena spun the dreidel once more. This time it stopped on the letter Gimel. I win! Baba Brena swept the nuts into her apron. Roar! Old Bear roared. Don't be angry, Rabbi. It's only a game. Here. She tossed him a nut. Old Bear caught it in his paws, cracked it handily, and then begged for more. No, Rabbi, no more nuts. It's time for dinner. Old Bear snuffled and grumbled. Baba Brena opened the oven door and took out a platter piled high with steaming potato latkes. Old Bear's nose twitched as she set them on the table. Do you prefer your latkes with sour cream or jam? Roar, Old Bear growled. Jam, I thought so. Baba Brena smeared 5 big latkes with jam and stacked them on Old Bear's plate. Old Bear snuffled with pleasure as he gobbled the latkes down. Baba Brena laughed. You should use a fork. You have jam all over your beard. She wet a towel and wiped Old Bear's face. I must tell you, Rabbi, you eat just like a bear. I'm hungry as a bear, so I eat like one. I can see that. Baba Brena chuckled. Old Bear ate and ate until all the latkes were gone. He licked jam and sour cream from his muzzle and his paws. Then Old Bear began to feel drowsy. He yawned. His great head flopped on Baba Brena's lap. Rabbi, you're sleepy. Who wouldn't be after such a meal? All the latkes are gone. It's time to go home. But before you leave, I have a Hanukkah present for you. Baba Brena took out a red woolen scarf from the cupboard. She wrapped it around Old Bear's neck. This scarf will keep you warm on the coldest nights. I knitted it myself. Brrr. Old Bear licked Baba Brena's face. Baba Brena blushed. Oh, Rabbi, at my age. Old Bear shuffled to the door. It was time to return to his den. He felt very sleepy. Mrrr, he growled as he ambled off into the night. He turned around one more time before disappearing into the forest. Mrrr. Good night to you too, Rabbi. Happy Hanukkah. Baba Brena was washing the dishes when she heard another knock. I wonder who that is. Shalom, Baba Brena. Her friends and neighbors stood at the door wishing her a happy Hanukkah. Shalom, everybody, Baba Brena cried. How nice to see you. Please come in. I'm sorry, I don't have any more latkes. The rabbi came by. He ate them all. Baba Brena, don't you recognize me? It was the rabbi. The rabbi couldn't have eaten the latkes, everyone said. He was in the synagogue with us the whole time. Baba Brena scratched her head in bewilderment. Something strange is happening here, Rabbi. I think there is an impostor going around. He looks like you. He talks like you. He even has your beard. Just then, Esther and David, Baba Brena's two grandchildren, cried, "Come, look!" Everyone ran to the kitchen to see what was wrong. They found the floor covered with bear tracks. A bear! And I thought it was the rabbi. Baba Brena had to sit down. Soon she began to giggle. That was a very clever bear. Or a very foolish Baba Brena. Ah, well, let the bear have a happy Hanukkah. I had a happy Hanukkah too, and so will you, my dear friends. David, go bring some potatoes up from the cellar. Esther, get my grater and bowl. Everybody has to help. You too, Rabbi. But I promise there will soon be latkes for everyone. Deep in the forest, Old Bear slumbered in his den. His stomach was full of potato latkes. The warm woolen scarf was wrapped snugly around his neck. Pleasant dreams, Old Bear, and happy Hanukkah. I hope someday you have a chance to taste potato latkes. They are delicious. And I hope all of you have a very, very happy and memorable Christmas.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We all know that Santa's coming. We all know that Santa's coming. We all know that Santa's coming, and soon will be here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. What child is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping? Whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Taste to bring him Lord, the babe, the Son of Mary. So bring him incense, gold, and myrrh, come peasant king to own him. The King of Kings salvation brings, let loving hearts enthrone him. Raise, raise a song on high, the Virgin sings her lullaby. Joy, joy, for Christ is born, the babe, the Son of Mary.
Hi, everybody. This is Joe DeRosa speaking from Naugatuck, and I'm Dennis DeRosa's father, and I have this is my privilege to play my favorite song for each and every one of you, and I hope you each and every one have a pleasant Christmas, and just I'm looking forward to playing this particular song that's been my favorite for many years, and it's a very apropos song. The title is My Oh Holy Night. So I hope you all enjoy it. And again, Merry Christmas to all. Okay. Merry Christmas to all.
Awesome. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Good.
Dashing through the snow in one horse open sleigh, Tidings we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a singing songs tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bride was seated by my side. The horses lean and lame, misfortune seemed his lot. We got into a drifted bank and then he got upset. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh.
Ho, ho, ho! Hello, boys and girls, young and old. I'm sorry we can't be with you this year. I have enjoyed our visit so much in the past. Today I'm speaking to you from the North Pole, where I'm getting ready for Christmas Eve in only 12 more days. The reindeer are all set to go, the sled has been freshly painted, and the last of the toys are being packed. I can't wait. Can you? I've been getting your letters, so I know you've all been good this year, and I have your Christmas lists. Usually you visit with me before Christmas and then sleep through the night on Christmas Eve. So I ask you, have you ever seen me on Christmas Eve? How would you like to try to catch me? I'm going to share some secrets with you now on how you might catch me on Christmas Eve. After waiting for days and days, it's finally Christmas Eve. And that's when you try to catch me. As you know, I'm very busy, and you won't be able to keep me for long. So plan ahead. Figure out how to make the most of your time. First of all, you might have a million questions to ask me, such as, how do I squeeze down those chimneys? How fast can the reindeer fly? Do elves ever catch rides on your sled? What is your favorite toy? And do you really eat all those cookies? Maybe you have something you want to tell me, such as, I've been trying very hard to be good. My sister is too, even if she doesn't like it. Thank you for the presents. And I know what mom and dad want, but they're just too busy to write to you. Or maybe you have things you want to give to me, such as a headlamp so that I can see through those dark nights. My nose always gets cold flying around with the sled. A nose warmer would be helpful. And of course, all the cookies and other treats. Okay, now you know what you'll do with me once you catch me. But how are you going to do it? Be gentle and be kind. Don't try to lasso me. Don't try to make a trap that I fall in, or string nets between trees to catch the reindeer in the sleigh. Instead, be crafty, be clever, and be gentle. If you're very lucky, you will actually catch me. But you might only catch a glimpse of me, or you might just find Santa's been here clues. What are Santa been here clues? Such things as, early on Christmas Eve, write Santa a note, put it in an envelope, fill the envelope with glitter. When I open it, the glitter will sprinkle all around, and that'll be the clue that I've been there. Another one is leave carrots on your front lawn. The reindeer will eat them, and that's another clue that I have been there. Write me riddles, but don't give the answers. If you bake some cookies, don't put it by the tree. Put it upstairs with notes with clues leading to the cookies and bells and whistles around the cookies. And then that will wake you up when I get them. Now try to be patient. While you wait, sing Christmas carols, read books. Maybe you'll even have some Santa catching ideas. Ask your mom and dad if they've ever tried to catch Santa when they were little. Do they have any tricks? Check with your grandma and grandpa too. When it starts to get dark, look out the window for the last time and see if you can hear any Santa noises. If your family makes a lot of noise, laughing, eating, talking, playing games, ask them to be quiet. Shh. Every now and then, listen for Santa sounds. What are Santa sounds? Sleigh bells, reindeer whinnying in the distance, elves giggling, and of course a hearty ho, ho, ho. When you start to get to sleep, make some last-minute preparations. Leave the Christmas tree lights on so that I can see my way around. Set out your riddles with a note that says, "For help with the answers, wake me up." I can't resist that. And if you have a puppy who's a good watchdog and a gentle watchdog, have him stay in your bedroom. Remember, I won't come to your home until you're asleep. Before you lay down your head on your pillow, peek out the windows one more time. Good luck catching me. And Merry Christmas. And if you don't catch me this time, don't worry. There's always next year. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us tonight. We apologize for some of the technical difficulties we encountered, but as I just said to Corey and Tim, we learned a lot of lessons, but hopefully we won't need them for next year because we'll all be here together in the sanctuary, celebrating together and enjoying each other's company. We mostly apologize to Chris Fisher. I'm sorry we weren't able to get your video to play, but we're going to keep working on it, and we will send that out as an email to the whole congregation so that everyone can enjoy the beautiful work that you did. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening and that we will see you back right here next Sunday morning for a service of 9 lessons and carols. I want to thank Team Tidings for a wonderful evening. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Corey. This has been really, really fun. And of course, again, thank you to all of you for spending your evening with us. We are going to finish up tonight with my personal favorite Christmas carol, Joy to the World. Enjoy. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare in hope. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and
to the world.